Let's see. Hold on. Hey, Rolling Out, this is Crystal Jordan, and I am excited about today's conversation because I am talking with Khalil Halton from Love and Translation. So if you guys are familiar, you may not be familiar with this show because it just started, and it is one of these TLC shows that forces us to look outside our, I guess what you would immediately look to for a love story and to consider something that's a little different. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and bring one out of the three bachelors that are a part of this show on. Please say hello to my guest, Khalil Halton.
Hey, what's up? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I want to say that I love the show so far, right? I'm not sure how this is going to play out, but I'm excited that you are my first bachelor to talk to because when I was watching your backstory, you and I are both alumni of the University of Oklahoma.
Oh, hey, okay, shout out. That is so cool.
We're Sooner. I was like, oh my God, it's a Sooner. That's what's up. And a football player, no less, because OU is all about football.
You already know, live, breathe, diet. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Boomer, what is it? Boomer born, sooner bred, or something. I'll be sooner dead.
Yeah. Sooner born, sooner bred. When I die, I'll be sooner dead. Like
absolutely, absolutely. So that's so cool. I was like, oh wow. And I grew up in Oklahoma.
Okay. Cool.
Oklahoma and Texas are like kind of like, brother and sister, I guess.
Yeah, to me, I didn't really feel a difference. Like I felt like I was just in a great value version of Texas, same thing.
Absolutely. So, you know what was interesting? So Love and Translation, I have a trailer for the show because we know that I'm a big fan of 90 Day Fiance, where we see people consider falling in love with people that are outside of their culture. And a lot of times they have the ability to communicate, but their culture is the biggest difference, right? Mm-hmm. But for this show, the opportunity to actually communicate with language is taken away. So we haven't even gotten to the issues that culture and upbringing bring in. We can't get past the language barrier. So I want to show the trailer, and then I want to talk to you about what made you decide to take this crazy leap and be on this show. So here is the trailer for Love and Translation.
Can you hear me?
Es en inglés o en español.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No entendi nada.
What kind of guys do you like? What's your type?
Hi.
Take control like a monster. Yeah, she got a body like a race car. Hey, getting waved on my monsters. Jimmy up, got me feeling like a gangster.
I am.
Oh my goodness.
¿De dónde eres?
Do what?
Deutschland. Alemania.
Deutschland?
Deutschland.
Deutschland.
Alemania.
Albania?
Does anybody know any English at all? No?
No one speaks English. How are we supposed to communicate?
I used to ride motorcycles and my favorite things to do, yeah. Not the best, I know.
私は愛されるために生まれてきたのと、人を愛すために生まれてきた。
Your Highness.
Oh, pienso que americanos son caballeros, tratan muy bien a las mujeres.
I swear there's an exchange of life stories, and like, boom.
¿Por qué hace eso?
Amiga, haz eso porque es un...
Quiero hablarte porque tú me humillaste.
J'ai l'impression qu'il joue avec plusieurs filles. J'aime pas ça, c'est pas mon style de mec.
I'm not going to call it a mistake, but it's a decision that I made and that I have to deal with.
Also, du bist ein Boy.
Can we talk?
Nein.
Wish I had a translator right now.
Eu quero muito. Puta. Puta.
I don't know how I feel. I don't know who I feel something towards. The challenge we face creates many misinterpretations, many misunderstandings.
Et tu te prends pour qui le roi du monde, t'es personne. Voilà ce que tu es.
Te puedes enamorar sin tener una conversación. Estoy aquí para comprobarlo.
Não fala mais comigo, não fala comigo.
Khalil.
Just relived everything. Just watching that again.
Khalil, what in the world? What in the world possessed you? And I want to set this up because, like I told you, I know I went to OU. I went a few years before you did, but I know what an OU football player, college football at that level, what that is like, right? So obviously, women are not an issue for you, Khalil.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, at least women being attracted to you because you are not only very good looking, but you also were in a limelight, from a very young age. Because I'm assuming if you were a college football player, that you had to be really good at sports all the way up to that level. So women probably have always been throwing themselves at you. So what would cause you to go on a show where you are at a disadvantage with talking to women?
That's a lot of great questions. And, it does sound crazy when you think about it. You're like, dude, why would you even do, like, it doesn't make sense, honestly. It sounds ludicrous, sounds unfathomable. But I think at the time, I don't know, I think I was really in a place where I'd kind of just gotten kind of bored of, like, the US kind of dating culture, and, like, yeah, it's cool. You can talk to people and, like, you can make these communications and stuff. But there are different cultural, like, things that we have, whereas, like, maybe people don't want to be tied down. They have situationships, have whatever it may be. And I don't know, my dad's international. He's from Jamaica. I have family from Trinidad and Tobago, from all over the place, kind of. So for me, I was kind of like, it's not too crazy to try and date outside of my culture. And then I kind of was given the opportunity. And I was like, all right, well, this seems like really cool. Like something I can say, like, only a few people have done this before. Like so many people can say, oh, I play college football. I can be like, oh, I went on a dating show and talked to girls that couldn't speak English, So it's one of those things where it just sounds so crazy, so insane that I was like, I have to do it.
Okay. Well, I guess when there is a surplus, it's like, okay, I'm used to this. I did think that your family background is very unique because of your dad and your mom both being from different cultures. And then you guys being in Texas, which is a very different culture than their original culture. So I definitely get that. Before we get into your experience, because there's a lot there, there's a lot to unpack there. I want to ask you this because I remember as a kid, when my children were little, and watching Disney's The Little Mermaid, right? Are you familiar with The Little Mermaid?
Absolutely, man. That's a banger. That's a classic.
Yeah, Ariel. And we just had a big celebration and resurgence when Haley Bailey played Ariel. But in that Disney film, The Little Mermaid loses her voice and she can't communicate with the prince, Eric, but they're able to still fall in love in a very short period of time. Yeah. Well, that sounded good with Disney, but this show proves that it would not be that easy.
It would not be that easy, if you could do 1,000 takes and like maybe it might work, but yeah, no, it's crazy. It's hectic,
Yeah. It seemed like it seemed like when you guys actually sat down with the young ladies, you didn't realize how serious it would be for them not to be able to understand anything, because we see these dates where you're saying things and just trying to assume that they would understand gestures like eyes and they're just like,
yeah, no, definitely. And I feel like you also, like, you have a game plan. You're like, all right, I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna say this, or like, I'll just go in there, I'll be cute, show them my heart or something and point at them. But like, it really wasn't that easy. Like, you really had to figure out to play like the hardest game of charades and try to figure out how you're gonna communicate, these ideas. And it was difficult, but at the same time, it was like really exhilarating.
Yeah. It looked interesting. And then of course, the three of you guys have very different personalities. I love the fact that you guys all were from very different backgrounds and the bachelors. Let me ask you this, watching the show, because I don't know how much of what you heard the women say before you actually got a chance to watch it. But in the first few episodes, you see the women talking about what they envision a man from the United States to be like. And you hear a lot of them talking about the fact that they think American men are very supportive of women being strong and women being smart and women being intelligent and doing their own thing. And they don't want to be with a man from their culture because a lot of times they're considered, the women are considered, be, I guess, secondary citizens in some situations. Do you think that the reputation that American men and women have, do you think that is true? Do you believe that all the things that they were believing were going to be different about America is really true when it comes to the dynamic of relationships here?
I think it's one of those things that's kind of like relative to the situation. I feel like some of it's true and then some of it's not true, you know, because I feel like America is so large, like it's a huge melting pot of just so many different cultures, so many different people. And so I feel like sometimes, you know, like, yeah, like the ideal man, like if you're looking for an individualistic person who's like, they're going to support you, they're going to try and provide, they're going to want you to like have input, they're going to have like a voice. And then there's also, you know, that there's also the classic, you know, American household where they're kind of like, all right, no, the woman has to stay home and clean. She has to take care of all the kids, going to all the recreational activities, you know, doing those kinds of things. And so I feel like you kind of have like two totally opposite sides of the spectrum, you know, and I feel like, but I feel like that they're kind of on track, but also kind of like, they kind of have a romanticized like fantasy, you know, fantasy version of it. But I think it definitely is out there. I feel like, you know, depending on what they're really looking for, there's two types for, or multiple types for whatever they're trying to look for.
I guess the difference with America, it'd be there's the option for that, where maybe in some places it's not. But I do agree with you. It seemed like they have a romanticized idea of what American men are. Because I'm like, no, there's still American men that don't necessarily want
there's still men.
Yeah. One of the things that I loved in the first 3 episodes that I saw is that you had done some research on other cultures, and so you understood with the Asian young lady that her culture, looking in the eye contact was not something that was considered respectful, was disrespectful in her culture. Talk a little bit about that, because I thought that exchange was so interesting, the way you automatically understood what was going on with her because of what you knew about, I think, watching anime.
Yeah. So like, honestly, all my like culture, a lot of my cultural like kind of intelligence or knowledge comes from watching movies, which I mean, I know obviously like they're kind of like over exaggerated sometimes, but at the same time they do provide like a lot of, you know, a lot of education. So I watch a lot of Japanese, Korean, Chinese, you know, random movies. I like to watch a lot of Spanish movies. So I try to, you know, just try and stay culturally kind of aware. So I'll watch it and, you know, I'll try to see how much of it's really true, like see what's a stereotype, like what's actually like a real problem in those countries or wherever it may be. And kind of just learning about him is like really cool. So whenever I came across Heidi, and I knew immediately like she didn't like the eye contact, and I knew like there was a specific reason behind it, you know. So luckily I'm like, all right, good thing I watched like a lot of movies and TV, so like it kind of helped a little bit out. So yeah.
I thought that was cool because it also showed that, of course, these women, I mean, I don't know where these women are drop dead gorgeous. I mean, they found women that, you know, look like you know, ads for, you know, what would be on the poster for these countries. But it showed that not only are you excited about the beauty, but you actually have a respect for the culture, and that you actually want to know more. You know, you actually love the idea of the culture as opposed to just getting this beautifully exotic woman. So I thought that was really cool. What has the experience been like for you? Did this change your idea about love and about, you know, what you would want? Because you seem, out of all 3 bachelors, you seem very intent on your goal is to find true love. And I mean, I think the other guys as well, but I mean, you're able to articulate it really well to us as the audience. Has your perception of how difficult or challenging that would be changed after this experience?
Yeah, I mean, not only has my perception of love changed, but like my life has changed, to be honest. Like to know that there really is such a bigger world out there, and to know that once you kind of experience something like that, like there really is no barrier for love. You know, like obviously you can't speak the language, but at the same time, like there are ways to overcome it. Like I've experienced it. So now it's almost like just unlocking the matrix type thing. So I feel like, you know, I want to travel everywhere. I want to see everybody. I want to learn all these different languages, and you know, I just want to take it and learn with it, and just take a little bit of piece of everybody's culture and kind of like put it in me and be able to use it and just connect with everybody is, I feel like, you know, really where my life's turned, and how much that's really impacted like not only just my behavior, but also just like my mindset.
That's good. I watched a movie called Origin by Ava DuVernay, and she talks about how the ability and freedom to love other people, it really introduces you to culture and makes you have a deeper respect for their lifestyle, right? So if all of us were like that, have our own little stereotypes about other people, if you have a chance, if you fall in love with someone, it humanizes their culture in a different way, right? And it adds credence. And I think a lot of the prejudices and boundaries that a lot of us put up, if we fell in love with someone, we were able to see them, that would change. Do you think that your perspective on other cultures specifically after getting to know the women changed and you did develop a deeper level of respect, or did it give you a deeper appreciation for America?
I'd honestly say both, to be honest, because like I'm me personally, I'm someone who like, I love a lot of different cultures. I've grew up with, kind of basically 3 different cultures or more. So for me, I always love whenever I get a chance to experience new cultures. So for me, I'm kind of just like, I'll take it in. I feel like I've definitely learned a greater appreciation for other people's cultures and just learning how they're so different and why they're different and just like what makes them unique. And then also being able to come back here to the US and be like, man, I'm so thankful that we have this, this, and this, because they don't have that over there. Or, maybe they value something different. And so it's really cool just to be able to have the knowledge, to be able to just think that like, all right, we live this way, somebody else lives this way, somebody else lives this way. And they all have like their positives, but at the same time, they do it all in such a unique way that fits their culture.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you could bring it all like together in a perfect world, that'd be awesome. But at the same time, I also think that being able to share other people's culture is really cool. And it's like really impactful as far as making relationships.
Yeah. One of the things I wondered, not necessarily with you, but with one of the other bachelors, is like, I think that when children are born to parents that are from other cultures and they don't teach them the language, it kind of puts them at a disadvantage, because they would have been able to communicate. He would have been able to communicate with a lot of the other Spanish speaking people if his mother had taught him. Let me ask you this. So yesterday was Valentine's Day, Khalil.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there are certain things that you think are just certain things that women, regardless of what their culture is, appreciate. Like, what do you think a woman from America or Japan or Belize or Brazil, what is one of the things that goes across the board that would be appreciated just with women after this experience? Because you definitely learned there are some things that certain women don't like, certain women don't move as quickly as others or whatever. But what are what is the the constants that you learned about different women after this experience?
That's a good question. I think it would probably have to be effort or consideration, just being able to take the time and the effort to think about somebody else and to like put that into something else that's going to provide for them or something that they're going to enjoy, whether it's maybe just getting some chocolates or literally like designing the whole room just for that occasion. I feel like showing that you went out of the way to try and at least make an effort is a huge deal, because a lot of girls, they're saying like, oh, I'll just take this and that. Like, yeah, but also do it like with a little bit of like finesse, and then I feel like a lot of girls just want to be thought about. They want to be considered, in everyday plans, whenever, say if I'm going to go somewhere, like she wants to be considered in the plans, make sure that, I'm just in general, just thinking about her and thinking about the ways that we can do things together, or I can just make her day or something like that. So for me, I'll probably say just effort and consideration. People just want to be thought of, spend time on. Yeah.
I like that. Another thing that I saw was that women, when you have a room full of beautiful women and lesser men than women, there's going to be jealousy all the time. How did you navigate?
For sure. Every time.
How did you navigate being able to show attention and, still not hurt someone's feelings, but also, I mean, you guys kind of seem like kids in a candy store there. How was that? How was that experience? And did you learn anything about how to be respectful and to set boundaries?
Yeah, I can't lie. That was honestly one of the hardest parts about navigating it at the beginning, because like, bro, there's like 12 girls and there's 3 guys, and it's like, all right, you want to try and give each of them enough time to where like you get to know them and they feel like appreciated, but at the same time you want to know the other girls too. But it's like you stop talking to one, you go talk to the other one, like you already started some type of drama because you're talking to somebody. And it was difficult. I'm not gonna lie. There'd be times I'd probably just be hiding in the corner, like. I think there was one episode I was literally like eating while they're just arguing. I'm just like, man, I'm just gonna ignore it. Just keep doing whatever. But yeah, it was tough. But at the same time, it did really kind of teach us to really kind of like move with intent. Kind of like whoever we actually like are attracted to or like find like some chemistry with, like you really gotta hone in and go in for it, because otherwise you're probably gonna miss your chance. Yeah. And it is really difficult, like trying to tell the other girls, like, hey, like I don't really want to talk to you. I'm not really that interested. But at the same time, there's a way to do it with kindness and not be a total douchebag and like just be like, no, I'm not trying. I'm good. Like, what I'm saying? Like there are ways to be nice about it. Be like, yeah, no, I would love for us to be friends. If you want to, we can keep talking. I'm here for you. Yeah. But then on the other side, then you're taking you're taking all your attention, making sure you're putting it towards the people that that you actually like.
Yeah, that's got to be difficult for men everywhere. But I did think, yes, consideration and effort, and girls will always be jealous. Jealous seems to go across all.
I can believe that. I will back that 100%. Absolutely.
All right. Well, last question. Like I said, yesterday was Valentine's Day, and the whole month of February is kind of like a month for lovers. So I know you can't give us a spoiler, but can you tell us if you had a special Valentine's Day?
It was a very special Valentine's Day. I really enjoyed it. Probably not gonna see anything on my social media thing about it, but yeah, it was good. It was very quiet. I enjoyed it.
Very quiet. Okay, I don't know anything. That didn't really help me out at all, Khalil. So
I'm not trying. You know what I'm saying? You have to watch the finale to figure it out. April 21st.
You gotta watch it. Okay, last question. What advice would you give to a young man that was in your situation before? That is. I love the fact that you mentioned that you were shy, because still it's beautiful to see that. Being shy does not necessarily come with a certain type of career or a certain type of background. So what advice would you give Khalil before he went into this, into the, I guess, the social experiment, after living it and understanding? What advice would you give your shy self before you signed up and was introduced to the ladies?
Yeah. That's good. If I could give myself some advice, I mainly like hone in on the kind of just forget everything and kind of just enjoy the experience, be present in the moment, and just really enjoy it. Try and figure out the ways to make these connections. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't think too much in your head. Kind of just be there. And then also probably just be confident, be an individual that's proud of yourself. If something is awkward, it doesn't go well, like, hey man, just keep rolling with it and just have fun with it. You can't think too hardly about it. Just got to have an open mind, trust in yourself, and it's gonna be a good time usually.
I love that. Well, we can't wait to see how this ends. The show is addictive because it's like everything that we've been taught about communication comes to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
With Love and Translation. Please let our audience know where they can find it and how they can follow you if they want to look for sneak clues about how this plays out.
For sure. Yeah. You guys can check it out on TLC every Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern time. It'll also be on Discovery Plus and HBO or Max on the next day. And then if you guys want to follow me on social media, it'll be Khalil_Houghton. It'll be the same for Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, anything. So yeah, Khalil_Houghton.
All right. Well, we look forward to catching up with you after the season or later in the season, definitely, Khalil. And of course, welcoming the other bachelors. Thank you so much for hanging out with us right after Valentine's Day. We wish you a very happy month of love and also Black History Month as well. So
yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Thank
Absolutely.
You so much.
We hope you'll come back.
Yes, we'll definitely do.
All right. Have a good one. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and getting to know a little bit about Love and Translation. Trust me, if you have not seen this show, you want to tune in because, like I said, it really kind of delves into the idea that language is a big part. It's more than just our words. It's what the beliefs and definitions, that the connotative definitions that are behind the words that are really drive the way we communicate with each other. And it's just great to see some amazingly good looking men and women trying to figure this whole thing out. Make sure that you tune in to TLC for Love and Translation. This has been Christal Jordan with another relationship conversation right here on Rolling Out, and we'll see you next time.